have not made a video in the last 5 months. I've been missing for a long time. I like to report myself missing. There's so many incredible things going on. I felt for a really long time, for the last 5 months, that it was really important to keep what was going on to myself, because sometimes it dilutes it or lessens it by sharing it or having to explain it or having to stand up for myself, or stand up for my views, for how I feel, for my opinions or my thoughts or my feelings. I wasn't feeling like that was something that I really wanted to do. But the messages never stop, nevertheless, whether I'm here or not. I'm just a receiver, an antenna, as a Scorpio, I guess. Sometimes also a live wire. And so I'm coming today to talk about a few things. We know that the energy is strong. We know that the changes within ourselves, within this planet, within the whole omniverse are magnificent at this time. And sometimes it gets a little overwhelming as a human being, or as a soul or spirit in a body. It gets a little overwhelming with the 3D. People have been saying for so long, as we become multidimensional, we lose or leave behind our 3D selves, but in actuality, that's not the case. We learn to be or acclimate to being multidimensional within a vessel or within this avatar, while also existing in 3D simultaneously. So, you know, you may be driving and receiving visions. You may be working and receiving visions. You're still doing those 3D things. We're still eating. We're still cooking. We're still doing all these things. And we're just becoming multidimensional while we're doing them. Not being in 3D, there's nothing that's going to stop the energy of this. There's nothing that's going to stop or waylay our success as a species in our process of evolution. It's just going to happen. It's really just a matter of how smoothly are we going to invite it to happen to us. Are we going to think it's something outside of us happening to us, or that outside influences have anything to do with it? They are a part of our lives. They sometimes do play an amazing role in slowing us down or speeding us up in our conversations and our daily lives and what we choose to do. But they're not really us. As we know, the thinking mind is not really us. So what happens in this energy, as I see it, as I've been seeing it for a while now, we have a galactic center. There's a galactic center within this universe. There's a galactic center within every universe. That galactic center is kind of it is a male or positive ion experience, that male. And then we have planets. The center of the planets have a core or a diamond core. Those are female. So it's this, what's happening is happening just like a relationship. You have the galactic core sending an energy to our planet, and it's going directly to the core as if the core is an actual magnet. And then the magnetic energy being sucked to the core, it culminates there for a while. What I've seen recently, the last couple months, is this energy from the galactic centers culminating in the core of the planet for about 48 hours, and then it's rising back out of the core of the planet and altering all sentient life with it. You'll notice when these energy waves come in, whether you feel it 2 days before it comes in, whether you feel it when it comes in, some people are reading or watching things on Facebook or social media and noticing that they are not actually physically experiencing it for maybe 2 days or a week after other people. This is how it functions. We can't all be in down mode at the exact same time. So we're doing it that way to assist each other. So we have energy coming in from the Galactic Center, going to the core of Earth, culminating, rising back out, altering all sentient life, and it just keeps doing it over and over and over. This is a cyclical thing. So it happens, it is something that is a physical occurrence all the time, but during these huge cycles, these 26,000-year cycles, these 52,000-year cycles, you really get an uptick to where you notice it. If anyone watching is in their 50s like I am, you'll know that the energy's been extremely strong for the last maybe 7 years, but you hadn't noticed anything like this previously. There is a really large percentage of you, I would say probably, I know it's everybody that's watching for sure, and there are thousands and thousands of people that are like this. We are what I would say is an actual carrier. If you will notice, sometimes you try to talk to people, you try to explain yourself or speak your truth to people, they don't quite get it. And the reason is because they're not on the bandwidth of understanding, which is not good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. It's just simply the way it is. In electronics, you have what they call a certain frequency that is a carrier wave. In order to send television, radio signals, sonar, all of these other things, they use a carrier wave to send these other waves of information, right, to the source, to the reception, to the end point of reception, I should say. So what you have is, and I have no idea what the number is, doesn't really make a difference, but what you have is thousands and thousands of people on this planet that are, and they probably got this from studying the human body, would be my guess, and I'm hoping to find that out, how they did study this, and I'm guessing, like I said, it's the human body, but you have a carrier wave. And certain beings on this planet they just come in as carrier waves. Now, some people will alter their frequency to the point where they become a carrier wave. I was born a carrier wave. And what that means is, as a carrier wave, I have a regular wave, I have my own frequency, I have my own body signature, and I also have other signatures riding on me. If you will notice, sometimes when these energies, or all the time when these energies come in, you have people that feel them a little bit, people that don't feel them at all, and people that are just like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? What's going on is those people are carrier waves. So you have all this information, all these waves coming into, or that are in existence. And basically the carrier wave is, in my eyes, I see the carrier wave as being a magnet to all these other frequencies. So as the carrier wave human, however many of us there are, we not only, again, have our own signature like all human bodies or all hominid beings, period, but we have that magnetism to all these other waves, right? And some people call it empathic. It's not really a word that really does it justice, but you're constantly pulling in things. I mean, if you're not listening, I could be listening to the person in front of me and hearing something happening within the Andromedan galaxy, or something, I can hear something in Sirius, or I can sometimes hear stars exploding in the galaxy while listening to a conversation and hearing the TV in the other room. That is part of being a carrier wave. So my whole focus, my whole centeredness this last year, 2019, was about my focus. what am I looking at? What am I listening to? What am I hearing in this moment of now, instead of listening to, because I've always kind of prided myself on being able to listen to multiple conversations or even carry on multiple conversations. And that comes from a lifetime of being a carrier wave and having all these and magnetically attracting all these other waves that can literally ride on me. Now, as a carrier wave, the healthier you are physically, mentally, spiritually, however, all of those things combined, the more you're going to hear those things. It's possible to be a carrier wave and know something's going on, but maybe you're not hearing it or you're not listening to it fully. So that is definitely something that it can be distracting. It can come out as an appearance as ADD, or it can come out as an appearance as this person in front of you thinks that you're not listening to them, but you're listening to them, listening to a multitude of things at the same time. So it's good for information, but I really had to learn how to focus on, okay, I'm hearing this, I really want to focus on that sound or that feeling, and let all those other waves fall aside. The one thing I will say about being a carrier wave is, again, with the kind of ADD behavior or kind of erratic changes in the field of your frequency, because as a carrier, you can pick up everything. You can pick up the people's vibrations and thoughts and feelings in the grocery store. You can be pulling in radio channels and TV channels and messages from beings, messages that beings are sending us from the cosmos. So you're picking up all of these things at one time. So focus on one thing at a time is very important. The one thing I will say about being a carrier wave in a physical body is you will notice that you're also extremely hypersensitive to television. You're hypersensitive to loud noises, unless it's something that you like, birds or music or whatever, something enjoyable. You are a magnet to, and these are not negative things. You just have to be careful what your surroundings are. I have noticed that I and all carrier waves are also a magnet to radiation. We are also a magnet to any kind of technology that they're using to send out signals. I will hear messages that I know that are not coming for me, or that don't necessarily have to do anything with me. So I did want to say that I know a lot of people go through this and they're not sure what's going on, but just to let you know that there is such a thing as a carrier wave human being. We do, like I said, attract all these things. It can be really, really good to watch your amount of time on the phone, on social media. We hear all these things all the time, but no one really tells us why, other than, staying positive or being in a great state of mind. But if you are a carrier wave, it will be really difficult for you to be able to stay in your receptive mode state of mind with all these other things, with all these other messages and energies and frequencies being attached to you. So, yes, Evan, the main frequency which all other frequencies ride upon. It's a free ride. Take it easy. So anyway, that's all I want to say about that. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is we know that as the energy on the planet increases, all sentient life energy increases, all frequency increases. So we have a multitude of frequencies going on around us at all times. It's just the way that it is. As the frequency increases, the planet's frequency, the sun's frequency, everything within our solar system and our universe and our omniverse and all of it, everything is increasing at the same time. So even though you're looking at yourself in 3D and you don't physically see that your body is per se spinning, your body's field has picked up, the auric field has picked up in speed so much that you are spinning even if you don't see it. This is where the dizziness comes from, or the clumsiness comes from, even if you're a graceful person, and things like that. everything is energy. We hear that over and over again, but how does that relate to us and what we're doing and feeling and seeing right now? And it really relates to us in the fact that as all this energy is coming in and making, speeding up the whole systemic organization of the human vessel. And what that's doing right now is, I'll compare it to this. If you're a runner, you have to have a higher caloric intake, right? So as we're spinning faster, what's going on is the body is physically depleting itself of vitamins and minerals, which really, really keep the body healthy and keep it going. And it's not that you don't eat a great diet. It's not that you don't take supplements. It's just that, again, we're burning through vitamins and minerals like a runner burns through calories. That's what all of us are doing. And I think a lot of us are going outside and walking and burning those calories as well. So it's great to be mindful of your vitamins and minerals. That's very helpful right now. I couldn't believe with my diet and the things that I take that I would need any kinds of vitamins or minerals. I've had the problem of being extremely, extremely sore, specifically from my hips down to my ankles every day for the last couple months. I stretch, I walk, I do these things. I'm sore. It's really, really intense in the morning, and it seems to lessen out during the day. But one thing that I didn't realize that was going on was I go back to the information that I had that the Galactic Center is sending these frequency waves, this information, these light codes to the core of the earth. Everything is coming up out of the core of the earth. And what's in the core of the earth? We've got copper, we've got iron, we've got metals, we've got all these elemental things, which are fine. But what's happening right now is those metals are being attracted to that carrier wave once again, right? So I wasn't sure why we were so sore. You know, I'm sore, Evan's sore. People that I talk to, my friends, are sore. So I asked what to do about it. They said dark red fruit, so not strawberries, tomatoes, apples, things like that. Specifically plums, red grapes, plums, dark red cherries. You want the dark red fruit, not just red fruit. That's what I was told the answer was to this body soreness. To my surprise, when I Googled what was significantly important about dark red fruits, it said that it detoxes the body of copper and iron. I was like, oh. So, you know, you think these things are crazy when you hear them, when you feel them, when you see them. But if you just write things down and look things up, you'll see that your guidance is pretty much, unless it's in a fear-based way, your guidance has really given you these ideas, the best ideas how to take care of yourself. So we were told the antioxidants, again, of the dark red fruits, and it pushes that copper, that iron, all these things out of your body. It detoxes the, and also potassium as well. Again, it's not something I thought I would need in my diet, but the accelerated rate is just, again, it's burning through the minerals and the vitamins. So you can do supplements, that's better than nothing. You can do freeze-dried or frozen fruit, that's better than nothing. But what we're really looking for sustainable, amicable, physical well-being without the stiffness and soreness right now in our accelerated spin rate is the alive factor that's in the dark red fruit. It's the alive factor that's in anything that you eat. The alive factor is huge right now while the spin rate keeps picking up, and it will become more and more and more and more and more important as we go. I don't know. I haven't made a video in 5 months. I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but and that's it. Just kidding. I have one other thing that I want to talk about, and that is when you talk to people about things, or you decide not to, you decide to stay, keep it to yourself, keep these things to yourself. If you're not sure, but I'm here to tell you there isn't anybody that's really sure of anything. at all. We're not sure about anything at all. So what do you do when you're not sure? And so me and my best friend were having this conversation, right? And we're talking about the importance of writing things down. We're talking about, do we want to share this? Do we want to write this down? Is it really important? And then my best friend said to me, well, do you think Jesus, or do you think other people, our ancestors, these historians, do you honestly think at the time that they were doing these things, that they were following their guidance and doing these things, do you think they had any idea they were going to end up in a history book? Do you have any idea whether they really were able to discern, other than following their guidance, how important what they were doing in this very moment is? And when he said that to me, it was like, it wasn't even a light bulb that went on. It was like the whole stadium of light went on, you know. What I saw was our ancestors, a man and a woman, having this conversation 2,000 years ago. And minus the fact that we were using a telephone and messenger and things like that, the conversation was identical to the conversation that him and I were having. I wonder how important this is to share. I wonder how important this is to write this down. I wonder if it's important to write a book or make a video or whatever. It was the total parallel life is what it was for, you know, the simplistic term of what I'm trying to say here. I was viewing simultaneously, as they always tell us, all lives are simultaneously. I was viewing these people 2,000 years ago, like I said, having the same exact conversation. I thought, wow, if we ever looked at it that way, if we ever saw ourselves as the angelic realm, or just a group of beings with a higher awareness, if we could just look at ourselves the way those beings look at ourselves, we would realize that our information and our intuition is not only important, it is, and their quote was, our daily bread. They said, the quote, our daily bread, means listening to yourself and following yourself. That is the sustenance of life, is literally listening to yourself. So what was interesting, and it all happened within a matter of seconds. I'm listening to this man and this woman, our ancestors, sit there and have this conversation about what's important and right action. And then as I started to really listen to it, my friend was still talking at the same time. I saw like this image of Gandhi, and then Gandhi was having this same thought: is this important? Should I write it down? Should I walk? Should I lead this march? Should I do this? And then all of a sudden, there was like 15 different sets of ancestors from thousands of years ago, thinking and feeling the same thing. How important is it to share what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling? And I think, I don't know if there's a way for all of us to get through this in a healthy way without having a circle of people to share with, a couple of good friends or family members. For me, apparently it's making videos. But I stopped doing it for 5 months. Like I said, there was a lot of things going on, and I just really wonder sometimes and really feel like there are so many people saying so many different things. And to me, I feel like it's almost like I wanted to be in a blank slate for 5 months and not have anything. I don't watch or read a lot of information. People send me videos and articles and things, and a lot of it I don't read unless it is about something that I'm receiving in this moment, because I don't want to cloud that reception. So receptive all the time. So I needed to take a break from it, take a rest for it. And I was also going through a really physical hard time, and one day I may talk about that. And one day, I don't know, I may not talk about it. But I'm doing much better now, but I was having massive health problems because of the house that I was living in and what was going on underneath the house. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to give up my independence. I didn't want to. I just wanted to be in a house by myself where I didn't, without the TV and without the Wi-Fi and without all these other things going on. So anyways, I'm back, and I do think it's really important to share. And I do think that it's important, mainly these little voices, these little things you hear. It doesn't matter really if it's an angel or a being from another galaxy or your higher self or whatever. We're all here. All of these things are coming forward to be of assistance to us right now. And I don't channel information. I don't allow my body to be used by another individual, which is what channeling actually means. Another being comes physically into your body, their voice changes, things like that. I don't allow that to happen. But I do speak to different beings on a regular basis. If someone, those frequencies are out there. I can't help but pick up on it. And if it's something I want to know something more about, I ask questions, and I always get responses. And that is the case. I mean, if you are asking for something for a reason that is not noble, such as using information against somebody, or anyway, we know what right action is. It's not something I need to explain. But if you're asking for something, you truly need to understand something or want to understand something, all you have to do is ask for that, and it'll happen. And that's how it happens, and that's how I get all of my information. I do spend a lot of time in silence without electronic interference, because you will notice if you do that there are messages, that there are angels or beings or all of these incredible life forms speaking to you all the time. Trees, squirrels, doesn't matter. They're always there. They're always speaking. If we just relax, get out of our state of gotta be busy all the time, and shut it off and listen, you will hear it. And I really, as I always have, suggest writing things down. And if you're not, comfortable making videos or writing books or whatever, I have a couple people that you can talk to, and I think most people do have one or two people that they can talk to. But it's really important, I think, not to keep all of those things to yourself, not to keep all of that going. Another thing I wanted to say is a lot of people have been talking about the ringing of the ears, and we've been talking about that for a really long time. What I notice is that anytime the frequency changes, anytime a new energy wave comes in, we are automatically going to get that sound in the ears. That is our pineal gland activation. It's directly connected to the ears and the spine, so we feel it, we hear it. I would also suggest to you, if you're not already doing this, I noticed after hearing the ear ringing for, I don't know, maybe a year, that I stopped one time in the car and I said, okay, is there somebody trying to say something to me? Is this bzzz, is this somebody wanting to get my attention for telepathic communication? And that's exactly what it was. So even though that does happen on a frequency level, when those waves come in, a lot of times it will be someone that is trying to telepathically communicate with you. It could be the tree in your yard. It could be somebody on Sirius. But I do suggest asking, and when you have that sensation, asking, is there someone that is trying to communicate with me? And I also highly suggest when you do that, to state what your intentions are. Like, if I ask if someone is there and has a message for me, and I immediately start hearing things, I say something very simple like, I am not interested in having communication with any being that is not of love and is not here for planetary and omniversal liberation. And immediately thereafter, that noise will either go away, if that wasn't the reason that they were there, or the messages will start coming and I'll write them down. Rarely has it been something that has gone away, but you have to remember, okay, if you're somebody that's highly receptive, you're going to have all kinds of beings coming to you with all kinds of information. And I think the last thing I want to say about that is, and I've gone through this many times in the past couple of years, somebody will reach out to me and say, I have a message for you, or they'll reach out to a friend or family member of mine and tell me that they have a message for me, and then they will go on with what I could only describe as interference into my financial situation, or interference into my relationships, or whatever. A being of a high vibration does not interfere in what your success is, what your line of work is, who you decide to date. Those kind of messages come from an interference frequency, and an interference frequency is not what you want, right? Because any being of a higher frequency is going to allow and invite you to experience whatever it is you set out to experience. They are not going to get in the way of that. And I know a lot of you are experiencing that too. If you have people calling you or messaging you and saying, hey, you know what, you should just not talk to your mom anymore, or you should quit that job or whatever, because I got a message for you. Just remember, any being in the energy of the high frequency wave knows about free will, and they know about the Galactic Codex, and that is really simple. It's just non-interference. Okay, we learn our own lessons, we do our own things. That's different. I'm not saying there have been occasions where I've been driving in the car and I've heard, you better get your brakes checked, or you better get your axle checked, or something like that. I'm not saying they will help you out in that way, but I'm talking about, specifically, I'm talking about third-party interference. And that person that's doing this and passing along these messages may also not even know that it's interference. They may think that they're trying to be helpful. So when an energy shows up and you hear a vibration and that energy wants to have a telepathic conversation with you, I just really suggest stating what you'll allow, right? Nobody can tell anybody what another being will allow. Everybody's free to do that themselves. I would just say, we all know that in keeping our space clear, our vibrations clear, our friends list clear, whatever it is in your life that you're keeping clear, those lower frequencies will make an attempt to push their way into your life. And if they can't do it directly through you, they will do it through a family member or a friend. So I would just keep that in mind. I don't worry about it too much. It can be annoying, we want it. But like I said, most people I don't think a lot of people even realize that it is interference. I think when they try to reach out to you and tell you things like that, they honestly think that they're being helpful to you. So, and I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else to say at the moment, but like I said, 5 months is a long time to not make any videos, so I wanted to do this. I wanted to put this out there. I wanted to let you know that the energy and the spin of the body is making our body need things that we don't normally need. It's making us want things that we don't normally want, or that we don't normally need. I know the whole sleep thing has been pretty much an insane asylum for the last, I would say, 2 years, but specifically the last year for sure. Either, a ton of sleep, or you can't sleep, or you can't stay asleep, or you can't get to sleep, whatever it is. It's something, it feels like that perpetual full moon energy where you can't get to sleep or stay asleep. That is because the energy is so strong. You may be asleep for 2 hours. This energy builds in your body, and you get up. The only reason that you get up is because what happens if you go get a drink of water, or go to the bathroom, or take a step outside and smoke a cigarette, whatever you're doing, you're moving that body. That energy can then just kind of assimilate to this body system and move out a little bit, right? And then you'll lay back down, and sometimes it happens 3 or 4 times a night. You'll have to get up. You're just simply getting out of bed to discharge extra energy that's hanging out in your body's field. I know a lot of people don't enjoy having insomnia or not being able to stay asleep, but that's what's going on. So if you know that, you can just simply get up, take a walk around, do whatever you need to do, lay right back down, because you'll find that as soon as you allow that energy to say, oh, it's a lot of extra energy in my field, I'll walk around for a minute, you'll find that it'll dissipate and you'll be able to go right back to sleep. So anyways, I'm out of here. And that's it. I know I haven't talked to you guys in months and months and months and months and months. Not only I have not communicated through video, I have not communicated through Messenger or anything. It becomes a lot, because what happens when I write an article or put myself out there on social media is I'll get inundated with questions about things that I don't have answers to. I get messages, I receive information, I'll write it down, keep it for 3 days, a week, a couple of weeks, however long, and then I'll make a video with everything that I've received. So I have to find that balance and know that I know I don't have all the answers, and I'm totally fine with that. But if I didn't address it in my video, I just probably don't know the answer. So anyways, let me throw my phone on the floor for the last 5 seconds of the video. Anyway, thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.